Hi guys, welcome to Run in Science. If you've seen one of my previous videos, you know I owe you a review, and the review that I owe you is the review of the ASICS S4 Yogiri. Now let's talk about this shoe, because this shoe is somehow an oddity right now in the current running shoe market because of mostly a couple of reasons. The first reason, I believe that ASICS is not pushing the marketing enough on these shoes. This shoe was released, I believe, almost 6 months ago, if not more, in a different colorway. And then when that colorway dried up, they didn't release it for a long time. So it was not available on their website or anywhere really for a long time. And then they re-released it, or rather they released a second colorway, this one right here, quite recently. All right, so as of today, this is available on ASICS website. This exact colorway is the only one available. And you can go there and buy it as of today, and the end of September, October 2025. Unfortunately, again, like I said, marketing, the ASICS marketing is not pushing this shoe that much. The second reason why I think this shoe has been passed over by many people is because there are not that many reviews out there. Why there are not that many reviews out there? I don't know. I honestly don't know. This shoe is a very, very good shoe. Now, there's a lot of channels on YouTube. You're all familiar with that. I'm not going to have to name them all. But most of these channels have not done a review. And one of the reasons why I think they haven't is fundamentally because most of the shoe tubers are really, really fast people. They're really, really good at what they do, which is running and reviewing shoes. But if you look at their marathon time, for example, they're all very fast people. Right? If you look at Kofuzi, if you look at Ioana, if you look at run testers, doctors of running, these are all very, very good athletes. I'm not that good, all right? I am in the middle of the pack. I'm a slow poke. My PR in the marathon is 4 hours. But really, if you look at the data, the majority of people, or rather the average finishing time for a marathon is, I believe, in the around 4 hours and 30 minutes, which means that half of the people that run the marathon run it in a slower pace than 4 hours and 30 minutes, or in a slower time than 4 hours and 30 minutes. So really, if you are within the 3:30 to 4:30, you are in the vast majority, and you're actually not that slow, all right? You're really, really good. You might be run walk, that's fine. You're not one of the top elite athletes for sure, but you are not slow. That I can tell you, all right? It's really an accomplishment to run a marathon even in 4 hours, or 3:30, 3:45, 3:50, all right? Now, this shoe is marketed by ASICS as a racing shoe for the slowpoke like me and like people that finish the marathon in the range of 3:30 to 4:30, all right? If you're above 4:30, I tend to agree with the fact that you should prioritize comfort, right? Because you're gonna stand on your feet for a long time, so it's better if you have a shoe that is very, very comfortable rather than a true racing shoe. But let's say that you're close to 4 hours, you wanna break that barrier, you really want a racing shoe, which one should you pick, all right? Most of the best racing shoes are really designed for the top athletes in mind, and they are really designed to be wear maybe 3 hours top on your feet, right? You cannot wear them for longer because they're very uncomfortable. The upper has essentially no padding because they wanted them to be light, or very minimal padding. They're very aggressive. Geometry is very aggressive. If you've tried one, you know, all right? Now, this shoe is a little bit of a difference. It's a little bit of an oddity, like I said. Unfortunately, though, majority of the reviewers are really fast, so they probably don't really like that shoe that much. They say, why do I need a racing shoe for the slowpoke? I'm not a slowpoke, so if I want a racing shoe, I'll go Meta Speed. Well, I disagree, all right? I'm a slowpoke. If I want a racing shoe, I might even decide to go with this, all right? It saves also some money because this one is $200, which is, I believe, the cheapest racing shoe on the market in the US right now, all right? If you consider racing shoe. Now, what is a racing shoe? Then we enter a totally different discussion. But in my opinion, as long as it has a super foam, like this one has, FF Turbo Plus, is the same foam that is in the Metaspeed Edge and Sky Paris. Not the super recent one, right? Not the Tokyo, but the Paris, because this was released at the same time as the Paris. Down here, it has a secondary foam, I believe is FF Max, Blast Max. I forgot all the ASICS names, but I believe this secondary foam is the EVA carrier, similar to, again, the Metaspeed Paris series, and similar to the Mega Blast, to the Super Blast 2. Okay, not the Mega Blast, the Super Blast 2. Anyway, this is clearly a super foam. It's very responsive, very bouncy. It is a racing foam, no questions about it. And it has a carbon plate, and it has this low shape, okay? The shape that goes down, scoops down here. It follows essentially this line, all right? So it has a low carbon plate, which is a very sensible choice, all right? It's very sensible because the high carbon plate in the sky, for example, for beginner runners and slow runners could create some fatigue. So for slow and beginner running, I always suggest if you want a meta speed, just go the edge because it might be a little more comfortable in terms of plate fatigue. And really in this one, which is marketed to the slow pokes, it's really well done. It's an aggressive carbon plate, okay? I can't bend this. This is not the same as the plate, for example, in the Zoom Fly 6, which is a carbon plate, but it's very flexible. This one is not flexible. This is a racing shoe, all right? This is a true racing shoe. However, they've added more padding. It's much more comfortable. They widened the fit a little bit, especially here in the midfoot and the forefoot a little bit. Okay, it's wider than the Metaspeed. Not super wide. It's still a racing shoe. We'll discuss fit in a second. But they've added padding. The tongue is really nice and soft. Not too padded. Again, the weight is still pretty good, but it's not extreme. All right, the geometry of the midsole, the geometry of the shoe, and the way it runs is really not as extreme as the Metaspeed. So I believe this is 40, actually maybe 38 millimeters right here, so it's totally legal. I believe it's 6 millimeter drop, so 38, 32, or 40, 34, around that range. It feels really good. It drives like a super trainer. Again, I don't want to get into the definition of what a super trainer versus racing shoe is, but this really feels like an evolution of a super trainer, or a slightly better, slightly more aggressive super trainer. It is more aggressive, for example, than the Speed 5, the Endorphin Speed 5, but it's not as aggressive as a true racing shoe designed for the elite. So really, I do enjoy the idea. And I do enjoy the shoe quite a bit. Okay, so let's talk about what I like of the shoe. Okay, this is the general part where I describe the shoe and try to be as unbiased as possible. But now I'm gonna tell you my bias. Let's see what I do like of this shoe and what I do not like of the shoe. Okay, so what I like of the shoe, I like the fact that it has a super foam down here. It is not extremely soft. Okay, so this is sort of the previous generation of racing foam last year, if you think about that, where the foams were responsive and not too soft. The newest generation, I'm thinking the Metaspeed Ray and the Tokyo version, they got much softer. Similarly, the Adios Pro 4 got much softer compared to the Adios Pro 3. The Endorphin Elite 2 is much softer. The newer, the 2025 foam have gone super soft. This one is not 2025 foam. This is 2024 foam. It is still relatively soft. I believe it is in the range of 2022 in the durometer. Maybe not even that firm, but it's very responsive, right? Good feeling. If you've tried, for example, the Adios Pro 3 from Adidas, the previous model for their racing foam, from their racing shoe, it feels similar to that in terms of foam, all right? So it feels that nice and propulsive, bouncy, energy returning behavior, and it has a full carbon plate that propels you forward. It's really a good sensation. So the midsole, I do like it a lot. I'm not particularly a fan of mixing two foams. I don't like when there is a carrier foam. In many cases, could result in a harsher ride. In this case, it's not really harsh. It is really you don't feel the transition almost at all, so I'm okay with that. If it was all FF Turbo Plus, probably I would have preferred it even better, but honestly, you don't feel it that much, right? So what I like also is that fact that they've widened the shoe a little bit, okay? And they widen it also at the bottom, so it is a little more stable. It's still a racing shoe, right? You see the profile here, still a racing shoe, but it is a little more stable. There's no stable racing shoe, but this is probably the best that you can get in terms of stability. Now, what else will I tell you that I like of this shoe? I like the upper. The upper, ASICS always does a good job at the upper, and this upper is really, really good. It's still breathable, it's still light, but they've added substantial amount of padding, okay? Padding down here, which is pretty good. Like I said, the tongue is not padded, but it's really soft and really nicely shaped, so it doesn't hurt in any way. The laces are fantastic. They're the sawtooth laces that are typical to running shoes. Honestly, very, very good upper. And yeah, I like the price. $200 for a racing shoe is just a good price. Just a good price, all right? I like how it runs. I even like the fact that when you walk in this shoe feels okay, all right? Most of the racing shoe, you cannot really walk in them. They're designed to run fast. And if you run slow, or if you walk, if you're a 4:30 marathoner or a 4-hour marathoner, there will be a moment where you either walk or you slow down during the marathon. Those shoes, if you slow down or if you walk, they're really terrible, right? They hurt your feet. This one doesn't. This one is really nice even walking. I don't know how they did it, because honestly, this is super foam with carbon plate, which is not soft at all, but still it feels okay. It feels good to run in it. All right, so it's quite a remarkable achievement, in my opinion, from ASICS, and it's really sad that people haven't caught up enough with the review. Now let's talk about what I don't like, which is not much. What I don't like, still, this is a racing fit, all right, and the thing that I hate the most is the sizing. Now, most of the reviews, there's not that many, but a few of the reviewers said it's true to size. I'm not sure if I agree. All right, so this, I'm difficult with sizes. I'm usually in between 11 and 11.5, okay? For example, Adidas, I'm always 11.5. ASICS is usually very consistent with sizing, and I'm always 11 in every ASICS. Mega Blast, Super Blast, Sonic Blast. I'm always an 11 with ASICS, all right? Now, I bought an 11 in this, and it's a touch too tight, all right? It's a little shorter, right, than what I used to like, and it is a little tapered, so that the space in the front here is not that much. Now, I don't have wide feet. If you do have wide feet, unfortunately, this is not it, okay? There's really no racing shoe for wide feet, maybe with the only exception of the New Balance Elite V5 at this point, because they have a wider version. All the other one, there's really nothing you can do about it. But if you have normal, regular, medium to narrow feet like I do, you're gonna be fine with this, no questions about it. However, again, if you go through to size, this is tight, okay? It's a racing fit. Now, if I bought the higher up, I bought the 11.5, which in fact this is why the shoe is brand new. I wanted to do the video with the brand new shoe. Yeah, it's very dirty. This is a little too big. Okay, I'll return this. It's a little too big, so I will stick with the 11. But honestly, it's not true to size. It's a racing fit. It's true to size with the caveat that it's a racing fit. Okay, so here's what I would suggest in terms of sizing, which is really the only thing that I don't like. Is if you plan on racing, it obviously depends on what you race with it. If you plan on racing shorter distances, 5K, 10K, maybe all the way up to to a half a marathon, stick with your normal size, especially if you like the racing fit. Okay, I don't particularly dislike the racing fit in this shoe. The upper doesn't give up much. Okay, just so that you know, I've done 50 miles in my 11. And it's essentially, the upper is essentially the same. It doesn't give up much. So don't expect it to widen that much, okay? But if you go all the way up to a half marathon, maybe stick with your own size. If you are in between sizes like I am and you plan on racing a full marathon, or you like more space in the front, go up half a size. Really, this is unfortunate because that means that ASICS is not 100% consistent with the fit and the length. And unfortunately, it's not that it's half size short. Adidas is always half a size short for me, so I have to go up half a size and it fits nice. This one, it's sort of like that quarter of a size, if I can describe it that way. It's a quarter of a size too small, all right? So you might not even notice it. That's why a lot of people say it's true to size. I don't believe it's true to size, but like I said, I'm very finicky with the shoe sizes. The only thing that I don't like of this shoe is that, essentially. Other than that, this shoe is fantastic. I mean, the rubber down here is quite a lot. So it has good protection. It should last much more than any other racing shoe. It costs $200. There's really nothing wrong with this shoe. And it's unfortunate that people have essentially glossed over it. Now let's talk about alternatives. What are competitors? There's not that many. It's really, ASICS is the only one that has been bold and have done a racing shoe for 4 hours marathoners or 3 hour 30 marathoners, okay? So what would you choose if you don't pick this to run a 3:30, 3:45, 4 hours, 4:15 marathon? Well, at that point, you have to look at super trainers, right? So the closest companion to this, or the closest comparison to this, would be, and I mentioned it before, the Zoom Fly 6. Nike Zoom Fly 6 has a super foam with a carrier at the bottom, a plate, carbon plate in the middle, but the plate is much less aggressive. So those are, in my opinion, the two best choices if you want to run a marathon with a decent, fast shoes, and you are in the range of 3:30 to 4:30. Okay, they're very different though. The Zoom Fly 6 is very soft, very soft. The plate is also softer. It also bends a little bit more, so it returns a little more energy. You don't have that really pushing sensation that you get from these. So if you like firmer foam, this is not firm. Okay, this is still very soft and comfortable and bouncy. But if you like foams that are a little softer, then go Zoom Fly 6. If you like a little firmer, a little more energetic and responsive, go with this. Like I said, this reminds me of the Adios Pro 3, which now became the Adios Pro 4, and it's a completely different shoe. It's much more aggressive, much softer. It's not comparable to this. But I would say Adios Pro 3 is comparable to this. Like I said, the Zoom Fly 6 is in the same category, but it's very different because it's much softer and a little slower. Comfort is good though, right? Comfort is amazingly good in those, especially in the heel. They're super soft. This is quite the opposite. It's a little firmer in the heel, super soft down here. So they feel completely different. But the Zoom Fly 6, you can walk in them, you can go slow and it feels good. Really, they serve the same purpose. It's only a matter of choosing which shoe you like the most. Alternative, you have to go look at Super Trainer at that point. Endorphin Speed 5, less aggressive, much less aggressive, similar firmness, much less aggressive. It's not a racing shoe. This is a true racing shoe, right? So if you want the extra 0.01%, just go with these. Better than the Endorphin Speed 5. The Sonic Blast, which I've just reviewed, I'm not a fan of that shoe. That's massive, that's heavy, that's bulky. This one is light and rolls really nicely. This is a racer. That one is a super trainer that is, in my opinion, not even that good at what it's supposed to be doing. Boston 13. Evo SL could be an alternative to this. No carbon plate. They're all decent alternative, but really, they're not racer. This is a true racer. This one will give you that extra push. This shoe is, like I said, and I conclude, I'm almost at 20 minutes. This shoe is really good. It's very unfortunate that ASICS is not marketing it more aggressively. They should. I hope they listen to the reviews, because everybody that have tried this shoe likes it. I hope they listen to what the market wants, and I hope I convince you and give it a chance, because this is a good shoe. All right, see you in the next video.